Hello YouTube, on the fourth lesson from Learn C Like a Real Sigma. Well, today's video it's more interesting than the other videos because the more that we go further, the more we get into interesting things, okay? So for today's video, I want to show you I want to give you a brief demo of what we're gonna talk about, and then we're gonna discuss things. Okay, so as you can see here, I call it the simp booth, okay? So this is someone, the coder, who's simping over a girl, okay, and he's telling like you're adorable, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous. Can you just notice something that's keep repeating, okay? Your, and this is space, your, just your, and there's these things that varies all along, okay? So there's something like that keeps repeating. Meanwhile, there's something that is changing on the go, okay? So these are called these basically are called in computer science loops. Okay, so loops. So this is a Python example. So I have put here a variable which like why do I always illustrate with Python? Because Python is more human readable language, programming language, I mean. So qualities is just like a list which has adorable, beautiful, gorgeous as qualities. Okay, these are qualities. And I said like for quality in qualities, printf sorry, print your, and this weird thing which means like replace this the weird string with the quality. So you start with your adorable, prints it out here, and then your beautiful and prints it out here, and then your gorgeous and prints it out there. Okay, so for now we have a brief overview about what a loop is. Okay, so but now we are going to talk about how to do these things in C programming language, because to be a real Sigma you need to know how to code in C. So okay, we go to YouTube and then C programming, and we open Vim, and then we start with the while loop. Okay, this is basically a lot. There's three type of loops in C. There is the while, the for, and the do while. Okay, so why did I start with while? Because while actually it contains something that we have just learned in the previous video. Okay, so here I'm gonna just close it here. I'm gonna do something here. Okay, I'm gonna say that this is my age, and well, no, it's a counter. Okay, let's say it's a counter. We're gonna do the countdown from 10 down to 0, or from 9 down to 0, like the last 9 seconds of the year or whatever. Like just like, okay, just keep it 5. Okay, it's an integer. And what we're gonna do is while the counter is less is greater than 0, which means when it hits 0 it stops. What we want to do is sorry, I want to close this and open the curly braces, and then what I'm gonna do is print f. I'm gonna put we are on, and we put d here, and I hope that you know what, why did I put d here. I'm gonna explain it a little bit, and then I'm gonna do this thing here, um, counter -1, then close the while loop. Okay, so for here I'm gonna explain what I have just done. Okay, at first I have declared a variable, and I have initialized it with a value of 5, and then I put a loop condition, conditional loop, which is the while loop. And this condition says it's like if the counter is still greater than 0, then keep doing whatever you're doing. Okay, so this is the whole thing that you need to understand. So the while loop works with conditions. So this is the first thing that you need to put in mind. So I have the counter here. It says like as long as you are greater than 0, then keep going. Okay, so here the counter is at 5. So 5 is greater than 0, so it's going to execute this block. It's the same way as the control structures that we have learned in the previous lesson. So here it says we are on D, and this D, as I have mentioned in the string formatting lesson, which is the previous lesson, this D replaces the counter value. So if I want to print the counter's value here, I'm just going to put like this percent %d and put the counter after comma as a first or the second argument of the printf function argument. And then I have set this thing here, counter equals to counter minus 1. What does this mean? It's not a mathematical operation, it's a logical operation, okay? It's like computer science operation, if I may say, because if we talk about logic, we are talking about greater than, less than, equal, whatever. So here it says assign to the counter the value of counter minus 1. So here, let's say we don't know what a counter is. We don't know what we want to assign to it. Well, what is the value of the counter? It's already 5. So 5 minus 1, which is 4. So put 4 inside the counter. So, or in other words, assign 4 to the counter. So here what happens is when we first run the loop, it's going to start on 5. And then when this arrives, the counter will be 4, all right? And then when it starts again, it checks, well, it will not start the program from here. Nope, it's gonna just start the program from this point and it's gonna keep looping, okay, until it hits this condition in the other side or in the other way, which means until we break this condition. As long as we are following this condition, we can go, but the moment when we go against or like in the other way around, like when the counter becomes less than 0, then we're over. Less than or equal 0, basically, because if we are on 0, we cannot print that, okay? So I guess it's enough talk. We should start working on it. Okay, I'm gonna stop this. City, YouTube, C programming, and the GCC -o, while loop, and then while loop.c. We don't have any problem, which is amazing. While loop. Okay, we have a problem here. Let's just fix it first. What's happening here? Okay, we go up till here and we add skip or jump to the other line, so the result will not be ugly. Okay, so we are on 5, we are on 4, we are on 3, we are on 2, we are on 1. So this is the first loop. It iterates on a condition. So this is the whole concept of while. Well, I want to introduce something else to you. What if we want another loop? That loop, it starts from while counter is less than 10. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do well, let's do the other thing. Do the other thing around, okay? So I'm gonna print like we moved up to the, and let's not forget that one, and put the counter here, and then okay, counter, and I'm gonna type this thing here, and I'm gonna explain what does that mean. So here, actually, I'm not gonna explain it now. I'm just gonna let the computer explain itself. So I'm gonna write what I have done. I'm gonna compile it, and let's do it. Okay, we are on 5, we are on 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we moved up to 0, we moved up to 1, we moved up to 2. What do you notice in here? Okay, I want you to understand the code first here. I want you to see that up till here, we print the value of counter here, you would notice something, okay? And I want you to keep that thing in mind. Let's go back here, let's compile it, and let's run it. So we are on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then the value of the counter is 0. So it means here, up till here, like when we were on 1 here, the program kept executing till this line. So when it hit this line, 1 became 0. So when it wanted to like iterate again, it said nope, we cannot do that. Why? Because we are 0 is not greater than 0. 0 is greater or equal to 0. So yeah, so here it stopped, and then we wanted to make sure if the value of, or like we wanted to see what value stopped the first loop. So we inserted this line of code. So after executing the code, the value was 0, and that was a good evidence to our argument. And then what we have done is we just changed the string here. We basically did the same thing, but then there's this weird line here. What does it mean? Okay, if we notice here, we started from 0, and then we got 1, we got 2, we got 3. There's something that keeps happening here. It's the opposite of this one here. From here, we kept subtracting like 1 each iteration. Here we are adding 1. So I want you to know that in C programming language, and maybe even in other programming languages like Java, JavaScript, they have this concept. Like if you want to, like it's called incrementation and decrementation by 1. So when we want to increment our variable with 1, we basically insert this line, which is equivalent to the following line. Counter equals to counter plus 1. Okay? So these two lines are equivalent. All right? But you would ask yourself, what is the equivalent line of, what is like the equivalent shortcut for this line? It's quite easy. It's the same thing. Okay, but there is something else I want you to notice. There's something called post-incrementation and pre-incrementation. So there's something that happens before and after. How would you know that? There's actually a way to know about that, but let's not care much about that for now. I'm gonna put another video for it, because for now we just want to care about the loops here. So up till here we covered the while loop, and we have seen like this new beautiful way. This new beautiful way, we're gonna need it, and we're gonna need it in the next loop. So up till here, as I said, we covered the 4 loops. So what I'm gonna do is, okay, I'm gonna close, write and close. I'm gonna create another C file, which is the for loop. We're gonna start by including our beautiful library stdio.h, and then there is void main, and then we start. Yes, we just put here I, and then we're gonna do the same thing basically. We're gonna start by for I equals 5, and I make sure that I is greater than 0. Yes, greater than 0, and then I decrements by 1. So we are on. That's what we have written before. We're on, and we escape the line, so nothing happens. And then we have I can replace the counter, but I don't want you to like memorize things by heart. So the value of, sorry, print function of the value of I is, let's just keep it this way, sorry, and escape the line as always, and then we put I there, and then we start another loop which says that I is 0, and then I is less than 5, and then I basically increments. So this is the thing that we wanted. We moved up to, so basically I'm writing the right thing now. I, and then I guess we are done up to here. We just need to close the curly brace and then write it. So for now, we're gonna run GCC -o, call it for loop, and for loop. That is no problem. If we execute it, we're gonna have the same output. So as you can see here, we're on 5, we're on 5, we're on 4, we're on 4, we're on 3. Basically the same thing. The value of the counter, the value of I, we just changed the counter by I, and that's it. And okay, let's go back to the code and let's talk about the for loops. The for loops are basic actually. They have the initial value of the iterator. That's why we call it I. And then we have the stop condition, and then we have the next step. What is the next step? Okay, so we start from 5, and the next step is 4, because 5 minus 1 is 4. And where do I stop is when I is over 0. No, it's not. It's not the stop condition. It's actually like the opposite of it. Like I can keep going as long as I am greater than 0. So it's basically the stop condition, but in the other way around. So as long as I'm greater than 0, I can keep going. Okay. So same thing here. I start from 0, and the next step is 1. And as long as I'm less than 5, I can keep going with no problem. So, and here, I basically the value of I was the last value that was assigned to it from this loop. So you can see here clearly that I have put I equals to 0. But you may ask yourself, why did I do that? It's basically just the syntax and the way the for loop works. It doesn't mean like that I have override it. I just made sure that by this point, by the end of this loop, I mean, at this point, at this level, we would have I equals to 0. So that's why I have done it. Okay, so this is the whole thing about it. Okay, so this is what's most important about the loops. And well, for now we have covered the for loops and we have covered the while loops. There is, as I said in the beginning of the video, there's 3 types of loops in C programming. This is the do while loop. Okay, we're gonna close this file, write and quit it. This time it's do while loop. Let's see. So, as always, we start by including the stdio, each header or library, main. Then we start the do while. Well, let's put age here, and let's put the age is 18 or whatever. I'm gonna put a do while, do something. Let's say you are. No, I'm gonna put here actually. I'm gonna put something like 15 because I got something in mind. Print f. My examples are not always that great, so expect the worst. You are not older yet. You are the or sorry, we skipped the line, and then we have age here, then we skip it again, and then what we do is we add to the age 1. So and then I close this thing and I say while age is less or equal less than 18. Okay, so basically this is the do while loop. It's quite like misunderstood loop, but let's just try to compile it. The output it's do while. Okay, sorry, do while loop. Great, do while. You're not older yet, you're 15, you're 16, you're 17, up, it stops. Why? Because we hit the condition actually. We hit the condition of 18. When we hit the condition of 18, it just stops. So basically it's the same as the while loop, but there's a difference. The thing is, it starts like running the code, like whatever like the condition is, and then it checks in the second iteration. So if you're lucky enough, I'm gonna just change the code here, put 18 here, and then I would write the code, and then what we're gonna do is, actually I'm gonna recompile it again, and then let's run it. So as you can see here, it says like you're not older yet, you're 18, but that does not make any sense. How can that happen? Like, I mean, like, if we need to be over 18, or less than 18 to like run this code. So this is what happens actually behind the scene. So we use the do while loop when we are not sure if we are already in the interval or not. We keep asking the, like, I would give you an example. I would ask someone, how old is he? Okay, how old is he? And then he's gonna like just start saying like random ages. You're gonna say, oh, I'm 14. Um, I don't care. For the first attempt, I don't care. But then I would say like, what am I doing? I need to check on what he's saying. So this is what happens actually. At first, they don't care. They don't verify the condition. At second, we're here when they try to see what's happening, they're gonna find it's already 19. 19 is already like greater than 18. It's not even 18. So that's why it kept executing. Even that 18 is not less than 18. It's equals or less or equal. So basically, this is the whole idea behind the do while. Well, there's a quite good exercises for this, but up till now, I don't want to get through the very like advanced topics because I want you to understand very well the main concept, and then when we start to write our like perfect code, when we start writing codes and writing programs that runs with the C programming language, you feel like a top G, like you're a coder who codes on C. I know C is maybe deprecated, but still C. If you know C, like it facilitates for you very like clearly a lot of other programming languages. There's no other like no other wild level than the C programming level, the C programming language level. So this was all for today. Thank you so much for watching this video, and see you on other lesson.